Someone said it the best at the end of the stream. I've never been so mad after a win. Now, your team's defense might be stinking it up out there, but you don't have to. That's right. You can trust the official sponsor of WreckTalk, King's Ransom, to have you smelling fresh. My personal favorite is the Fighter cologne. It's founded by a Georgia Tech chemical engineering graduate and alumni, so you know it's good. You can go to kingsransomusa.com today. You can use promo code WreckTalk. You're going to get a nice little discount there for yourself. They have beard oils, luxury colognes, anything you'd want for your personal care. So, again, your team's defense might be stinking it up, but you don't have to. Go to kingsransomusa.com today. I'm glad we won. Don't get me wrong. And let me tell you something. If you're one of these excuse-making Georgia Tech fans that, but actually Boston College is a really good team, go back to the Facebook groups and let the adults talk right now. Georgia Tech has given up 1,120 yards of offense and 82 points in the past 2 weeks to one bad team and one not very good at all team. Remember the excuses last week we heard from within our own fan base? But NC State's actually much better than people think. It was just a one-off thing. Man, we'll be better. We're just inconsistent. Don't bend but don't break. 1,120 yards of offense and 82 points is indistinguishable from a Jeff Collins coach defense. Georgia Tech, not only do I think Georgia Tech right now has the worst defense in the ACC, I think they have the worst defense in the Power Four. 537 yards of offense, Boston College tallied up on us. 537 and 34 points. Thank God Georgia Tech had 628 yards of offense. Haynes King has had over 1,300 yards of offense himself in the past 3 weeks. So what is the excuse now? It was kind of cold and Georgia Tech hadn't played in the cold yet, so not a big deal. Defense is just inconsistent. It's fine. Nothing to see here. How dare whoever the hell that was demand a freaking apology from me for being critical of the defense before the NC State game? I'm sorry, but people that know football knew this was coming, and I was telling you it was coming. We couldn't get pressure at all. We couldn't get pressured against Syracuse, and I mentioned that then as, hey, this is a problem. This is a problem. One of the announcers during the game said, Boston College quarterback could smoke a cigarette in the pocket. He's got so much time. They marched 95 yards down the field at will against Georgia Tech. And then there's people, we got to fire Blake Gideon, What is that going to do? Brent Keys had more defensive coordinators than years he's coached at Georgia Tech as their head coach. We're averaging more than one DC a year at Georgia Tech. We don't have a defensive line. We can't tackle a running back. We give up. We're so fragmented on defense that our whole philosophy is give up everything underneath, pray that they don't throw a bomb over top of you. Go back and watch that game and tell me I'm wrong. I will give some credit where credit's due. The two defensive MVPs in this game, drop passes and overthrows. That's our best defensive tool, is drop passes and overthrows. It makes me sick. And one reason is because Haynes King, I think he's now tied or overtook Joe Hamilton in the most 300-yard passing games in a career. He's about to overtake Joe Hamilton in total career yards. He's already overtaken him in career touchdowns. Everyone before the NC State game was talking about Haynes King, possible Heisman, going to New York, one of the best players in the country, but our defense is so bad. No one's talking about that now. No, and if I was recruiting against Georgia Tech, I would bring that up. Yeah, you might be some otherworldly, insane talent offense. You go to Georgia Tech, no one's going to notice because they can't freaking figure out their defense. Like, I can handle playing poorly, but when you just, again, it's the same thing from the NC State game. It's just Boston College is a worse team and you ended up winning. You can't refuse to play one side of the ball. Just flat out, hey, we're not going to play one side of the ball. It's unreal. The leading passer in this game was Haynes King by only by 9 yards. 371 for Haynes King, 362 for Lonergan. Leading rusher, T. Richard. Haven't even heard of him. No one that's outside of a Boston College fan knows who the hell this running back T. Richard is. He had 141 yards and fell forward on every run he had. Leading wide receiver was R. Harris, another guy that no one's ever heard of that's not a Boston College fan, 142 yards. We had one sack and maybe, well, let's see. We had one sack and we had, how many tackles for loss did we have? We had 3 tackles for loss all game. How many did they have? They had 2. Again, Boston College is we came in the game 8-1. They were 1-9. Georgia Tech, with how they played defensively, Pitt's gonna beat our brains in. Like, I'm just gonna tell you. It's unacceptable to be this bad on defense. Oh, well, look, but look how Notre Dame did to them, and we don't think Notre Dame's that great of a team. You know what Notre Dame did to Pitt? They locked them up, played press man coverage all game with 1 or 2 safeties helping over the top because they're that talented. Do you think Georgia Tech can do anything remotely like that on defense? No. I don't even want to think what Georgia will do to us. Putting the defense aside, because I'll get asked, like, well, what do you think the fix for it is? The portal and recruiting. That's the thing. Like, I'm not in the camp of fire Blake Gideon. I'm not in the camp of firing someone in their first year. But a big draw of hiring him was his ability to recruit coming off that Texas staff. Haven't seen it yet. Georgia Tech's like 48th in recruiting right now. Where's the troves of defensive recruits coming in? Where is the much needed, elite defensive line recruit that we desperately need? They're nowhere to be found at the moment. Putting that to bed, Haynes King is aside from Calvin Johnson, the best player to ever play at Georgia Tech. He's unreal. Again, he's had 1,300 yards, over 1,300 yards in his past 3 games for Georgia Tech. He threw for 400 yards last week, almost 371 this week. How many did he run for? 53 yards. So he had well over 400 yards on his own in this game. Jordan Allen is, if Jordan Allen is either a 4.4 flat or sub 4.4 guy. An amazing wide receiver talent that came out of Buford for Georgia Tech. He's amazing. Malachi Hosley, something else. That man puts his foot in the ground, gets upfield, and makes things happen. Gets yards. Isaiah Canyon, nasty wide receiver. Eric Rivers, a few big catches in this game. Haynes King, when he had time, was finding the open guy. It's just unfortunate that you have a top probably 20, possibly 15 offense, and it's paired with the worst defense in the Power 4. It's not an equation for winning. And again, I hate it for Haynes King. That's the big thing. I hate it for Haynes King. And this is coming off of a bye week. Did I even mention that? This is coming off of a bye week. Key said last week, the best thing to happen to us, man, that best thing to happen to us. He pulled the pouty face routine in this game again. So coming off of a bye week, you nearly give up as many points to a much shittier team. What did we do during the bye week? We just forget we were playing Boston College. Said, hey, we're gonna handle Boston College, no problem. Let's look forward to Pitt and Georgia. Is that what happened? I guarantee you that'll be some of the cope. Hey, it was too cold. Hey, it's just inconsistent. We were looking forward. No big deal. It's fine. Nothing to see here. It is a big deal. Giving up over 1,100 yards of offense in 2 weeks is embarrassing. It's just embarrassing. It's an embarrassment to the sport of football to do that. Nitpicking on the offense, we did the Pat Node special when we went for 2 to tie up the game. If you don't know what that is, that's where, like an idiot, you put all your linemen out here to one side. We just played with half of the offensive line, except I got it wrong. We didn't even have a running back in. We lined up like this and just went, woo! I mean, I hate to say it, this is Collins-type stuff to me where, why? Why do this? Why play with half an offensive line? What kind of sense does that make? And that's not even a Georgia Tech thing. There's tons of teams doing this for no reason. There are some things that are tenets and fundamentals of college football for a reason, like, I never thought I'd have to say this, playing with an entire offensive line. Yeah, you can actually do that. Malik Rutherford had a good game, by the way. So, look, I went and got my kid after the game. I'm recording this right after this, so this is kind of raw for me. But this defensive performance makes me absolutely sick. When the best 2 players on your defense are mistakes that the opposing offense makes, you're in a bad way. And as Pigskin Pete would say, you're down bad. If Georgia Tech beats Pitt, Georgia, and or both, they ain't beating them both. It will be because they got some help, like they did all the way leading up to this. Thinking back to the Duke game, they fumble on inside their own 5 twice, missed 3 or 4 field goals, yada, yada, yada. That's what it's going to take for Georgia Tech to win those games. It puts so much undue bullshit pressure on your offense when your defense just refuses to play. Because if you're Haynes King and the Georgia Tech offense, if you have to punt, you're thinking, man, that might be the ball game right there. Now, there were some other things that were pretty crazy. Brent Key had a total brain fart, and I saw an explanation on Twitter. But Brent Key called Boston College is out of timeouts. 4th and 1, we don't get the first, and we're inside like the 10. Key calls a timeout with 14 seconds left. He's like, oh, well, I was told it was first down, so I called the timeout. You have an entire staff of people to help you with this. If we would have lost a game after that, it would have been on Brent Key. That game should have ended with that field goal. It didn't. I don't care the reason. I do not care the reason the timeout was called with 14 seconds left. You've got an entire team to figure this out. Figure it out. Now, speaking of dumbass penalties, Boston College helped us out a little too. There was like a questionable, was it a forward pass beyond the line of scrimmage that we converted a 3rd down on? And Bill O'Brien drew an unsportsmanlike penalty, which is unacceptable in any scenario. I criticized Key about it when we played Vanderbilt last year, one of the worst calls I've ever seen with kick-catch interference. But you can't take an awful situation and add fuel to the fire by drawing a 15-yard penalty. That was absolutely insane on Bill O'Brien. They also drew Boston College an unsportsmanlike penalty right before half when they marched 95 yards down the field on the extra point that should have given Georgia Tech an opportunity to kick a field goal and go up before half. Didn't end up happening, but not good on Boston. I see, you can see the seams coming unwoven for Boston College. Bill O'Brien's probably not going to survive this year. I don't know if playing Georgia Tech close will keep him his job or losing to Georgia Tech, losing their 10th straight game will lose him his job. But here's the bottom line. Here's the bottom line, because WreckTalk said so. If you can't hold a team to under 500 yards of offense, I would just let them score every time. Just let them score every time. But bottom line is you're not going to win games that way. So let me know what you guys think. I'm pretty irate. I'm pretty upset. I'm really disappointed. I'm just disappointed that we can't play a 1-9 team any better than that. It comes down to a last-second field goal and 19 fourth-quarter points to beat a team that hasn't won a single conference or Power 4 game. The only team Boston College has beat is Fordham. So if you're on the other end of it and you just make excuses for everything Tech does, go ahead and leave those in the comments, and we can all ignore them. Y'all have a good one.